Welcome to Transform, tomorrow's thinking today. Your guide to the way groundbreaking innovation and digital transformation are reshaping our world. From cybersecurity in critical infrastructure to generative AI. Divya Saran takes you beyond the buzzwords, direct to their clients and experts on topics dominating the headlines and derailing boardroom discussions.
Collaboration is important when you're going through this AI transformation. You need an ecosystem of partners. Technology partners bring in innovation. The regulators, ensure compliance and public trust. But more importantly, Satish interfaces with other utilities in Texas and across North America because they can share lessons learned and help scale smart systems across the entire water sector.
That's Freddie Guerra, Digital Water Market Lead for GHD. Joining Divya and Freddie is Satish Tripathi, Managing Engineer at City of Houston, as they explore what it will take for the water industry to be AI ready, how to overcome cultural concerns, job enhancements rather than replacements, and how to navigate the broad challenges and opportunities. Divya begins by asking Satish, what are the essential components of AI readiness assessments for utilities?
We are in this water sector, water industry is in early stage. I would like to say fantasy stage, where people have a lot of excitements. They want to try it. They have a lot of expectation and also fear. I think that is where we are. We are in a fantasy stage. In comparison to the other industry like finance, health, we are a little bit behind because they are in an advanced stage. Usually water utility sector, this is risk-averse sector, and we have a legacy data infrastructure and do not have the rich formatted data source. So that is where our industry is struggling right now. But again, we are in a very early stage, but there are lots of promising signs that people are showing interest on how can we integrate this into our life. That is a very positive sign.
So let's go back to the city's journey. How did it all start? I know there's some exciting things happening like the Digital Twin project. Could you tell us more about that?
Of course, Houston is a coastal city and a space city as well. So being a coastal city, since last 10-15 years, we have been facing a lot of weather challenges. What happens when there is a 500 years return events like drought, flood, hurricane, windstorm, then freeze, everything one after another every year, then your focus goes to the emergency support, then the planned program. So that's what we faced in last 15 years, and that exposed our capability to be resilient and to be more sustainable. And how can we support better to our customer for the now need and for the future need? We saw that opportunity to bring technology to use in our decision-making process to help during the emergency preparedness or during the events or for the future planning. That's when we identified that we need technology like digital twin, AI to bring into our decision-making process. That's how we recognize the need. And since then, we started working on the data. Data is the basis of everything. So we identified most frequent data in our area, which data set we need most frequently to be used in our decision-making process. We built data catalog, which allowed us how we transform data to make it usable for the data analytics. That's how we started, first working on the data, and then we identified our low-hanging fruits. Where can we first attack and get the high ROI, return of investment, working on that. And then we started demonstrating those in-house. We were quite successful on that. And when we use some of these technology for decision making, like pipe failure prediction, developing our smart CIP, capital improvement projects, then people started looking at our recommendation and started trusting on this technology.
We've mentioned data and the term digital twin quite a bit. For our audience, let's unpack that a little bit more. Freddie, you've contributed significantly into this area. Could you explain what a digital twin is and discuss the importance of data in the industry?
So one thing I wanted to mention with digital twins, obviously, it's a part of what we consider AI readiness. So when we look at AI readiness for utilities, it's not about buying the latest software or hardware. It's really about preparing your organization for the actual use of it in a meaningful way. And really, there's 5 core areas that we should be focusing on. The first core area is strategy. And like Satish had touched on this, is there a clear reason why you want to use AI? Are you trying to solve a problem like failure of assets, like he had mentioned about pipelines, or are you trying to address customer complaints? AI is really driven by business needs. It's not just about technology trends. When we talk about, again, AI readiness, the second core area is about data. And you heard Satish talk about that. AI needs good data. That means having enough data, making sure it's accurate, and being able to bring it all together from different sources like AMI, SCADA, GIS, because without this, AI will not work. The third area is digital infrastructure. And again, this kind of leads up to the digital twin, but your systems need to be cloud ready. They need to be able to work together. If your tools don't talk to one another, AI insights won't flow to where they're needed. And then the 2 remaining areas, it's really about people and skills. When you look at AI readiness, do you have the internal skills to work with AI? Can your teams understand the insights and act on them? And then the last one is about change management. Is leadership bought into this? Are they ready to shift how decisions are being made? And then really AI affects processes. So you need some type of governance and buy-in to use it responsibly.
In the water industry, what are the biggest opportunities you've seen? Is there enough data to create truly meaningful tools? I'd love to hear about the challenges and opportunities and what people in the industry should expect.
So in the next 2 years, when you look at AI, the most, important opportunities are going to be related to 4 things. One is predictive asset management. And again, you heard Satish talk about this, forecasting failures before they happen. The other is operational optimization, improving the efficiency of pumps, pressure zones, chemical use, and other things. And then the remaining 2 are water quality forecasting, anticipating issues related to chlorine decay or disinfection byproduct formation. And then the last one is about customer engagement. How do we use AI to detect leaks and improve billing accuracy for our customers?
Satish, are you seeing these opportunities in your day-to-day work? Could you tell us more about the City of Houston's initiatives and what you've observed on your end?
No, I think Freddie picked all of our initiatives already, and we have now demand prediction, our system vulnerability prediction tool, which actually predicts based on the weather, what would be the weather next week and which area of our system might fail. We have not integrated it into the real operational world, but it is in the planning side. At least we can have that time to run some modeling scenario that, okay, this area might fail or might have the low pressure or low water quality, then how can we improve that? So we can simulate that in the modeling side or the planning side. On top of that, actually, Freddie brought very good point that customer engagement part. Actually, these tools and digital transformation helps us to make the more transparent in our process, to be closer with the customers. On top of that, one benefit which I am seeing right now in my team and within organization, even though you are not using AI tool for the whole project, it might not be a full project or a program, but you can use this for the daily activities. Like if you have to transform data from one data format to another data format. Before, you used to work in the Excel, and now you don't need to do that. You just upload your data set and you can transform it. Or if you feel secure and if you think that that data is not critical data set which cannot be shared to the open platforms, you have other way to use generative AI. Most of this data work is repetitive work. Like when you have that data, whoever produces the data or collects the data, from that point to the user's point, that data needs to travel a lot of path and process, and that process you can automate using agentic AI. That is where I am seeing a lot of advantage, and we have already started piloting that.
Looking at pilot programs, I am sure people are wondering how to get started. They're probably not sure how to set up these initiatives like automation, data transformation, or larger public engagement projects. What advice would you give, or what was your process for getting leadership buy-in for the pilot and the program?
We have to understand what are we trying to do, and do we really need to use AI for the work which we are trying to bring that technology. First, you need to be convinced. That is a first step, because whoever is thinking about it, it just should not be, okay, that utility has used it, why not me? That needs to be determined first. And then second step is where this AI tools adds value in your process. Do you really need machine learning prediction for the pipe replacement program or not? Do you really need some AI technology to do your regular job or not? And if you are convinced, then you can find the quick wins. Which programs you really need to deliver within short time, and AI can help you. That part, identify, rank it, and then try to find out the cost savings, like efficiency.
So, Divya, one thing I wanted to add to what Satish was talking about, that's one thing to focus on, is really getting that buy-in from leadership. And it's really about framing AI as a business enabler. And again, it's not a technology project. And again, it's about tying into these pain points. It's not just talking about AI, but again, talking about fixing problems, whether you want to identify leaks quicker or you want to reduce unplanned outages quicker. Again, it's tying into real pain points and not just talking about AI. A lot of utilities will try to use AI simply by automating reports. And again, that helps build momentum within an organization. And then the last key point, trying to get buy-in from leadership, is to speak in business terms. And, you talked about this, about how AI can reduce cost, improve service, or defer, capital expenditures, or extending the life of an asset.
As someone with a background in this field, these topics are music to my ears, but I'd like to delve deeper into what innovation looks like in the water industry. You've mentioned a few things already, but could you talk about some of the innovations you've seen in the last 5 to 10 years, or what you expect to see in the future?
Yeah, one of the biggest areas that we see innovation is how AI is improving water quality within a utility. So when you look at how AI is helping with water quality within a utility, I'll give you a quick example. The Census Ally meter records temperature, and it's a water meter, which can be used to estimate water age, which is a key factor in water quality. But AI can link higher temperatures to longer residence times, helping identify decays and disinfectant, but also it helps the utility by allowing them to understand what's going on in their system, so that now they can adjust flushing schedules, they can fine-tune their chemical dosing, and really prioritize areas for pipe replacement. So again, this is one of the main areas I see where AI is helping utilities, is focused on water quality.
With the data being collected for these developments, is it publicly available, or is it a combination of data from the utilities and other sources?
Most of the data, we don't make it public, but we submit our report to our regulatory agency, which is TCEQ for the Texas, and we have to submit. It's a requirement, and that is publicly available. So that can be analyzed and researched. That is one side. Other side is inside the organization, and we are actually working with different research organizations and also with the academic research institutions, where we are sharing this data with the NDA, non-disclosure agreement, because it has some of the data, when you use it, that can be used against the system as well. So we need to be a little bit careful on that, but it's publicly available in terms of report once we submit to the regulatory agency. But most of these time series data or the more higher resolution data, it's not being shared right now.
Divya, one thing I wanted to add to this, I know we're talking about data privacy, but this really speaks about how you start a AI project. And really, you heard Satish talk about this. You want to start small. And what does that really look like? So again, we want to be able to use data that we currently have. And, you heard Satish talk about, the AMI information, SCADA, GIS. So really, you want to choose a use case. It may be about billing accuracy or pump efficiency, but, you want to partner with somebody internally or somebody externally, like a consultant that knows a utility space, and run this pilot maybe 3, 6, 12 months, just depending on what you're focusing on. But this helps build that internal knowledge that you heard Satish talk about, but also will de-risk the future scaling of that AI implementation.
Of course, utilities should not be waiting until the data becomes 70% or 80% confident data set. No, we have to start using it in a pilot or demonstrating it. First benefit of all these pilots is you will know that whether your data set is ready for the real use or not. And you will know what's the limitation in your data, starting from the data collection, how you can change your data collection process, how you can optimize or how you can reform your whole QA/QC process, data validation process. It helps that AI, when you pilot it, you have to go through all those process. Like, for example, if we have a lot of legacy infrastructure, and that's why it's very tough to directly go and integrate our new technology to our system. Now, when you are about to replace the legacy infrastructure, you have to have it in your mind or in your contract that new infrastructure should be able to integrate to the AI system or new IoT device system or the cloud system. It needs to have that approach. Every project needs to go through this thought process and needs to align with this digital space or digital future. And then only you can transform your utility into a true digital utility. Then only you can really benefit from AI.
A lot of utilities are concerned about the cost and return on investment doing these AI projects. And frequently they'll ask, what is the cost of doing this? But, really the bigger cost is doing nothing, sticking with the manual processes, reacting to emergencies. These are really missed opportunities. And in order to really manage that risk and increase that return on investment, we talked about starting small, a pilot project with existing data. Also, the other thing, too, is tracking the metrics on the project. And, you can't show the return on investment quickly, but you can show the value of it, like detection rates for failures or customer callbacks. Are they being reduced? But again, all this builds up to showing that return on investment on these projects.
Right. Let's talk about the people aspect. We've mentioned tools like ChatGPT or Copilot to supplement talent, but what do utilities need to do to level up their talent pool, especially with the next generation that's digitally native and expects to operate in a digital world?
It's not just about hiring data scientists. It's really about building this culture of digital learning. And there's two sides to it. One is technical. You train your team on the basics of AI and data literacy, and then you start creating these hybrid teams. Utilities are used to working in silos where you have engineering, you have planning, you have operations, you have maintenance. It'd be nice to start bringing those siloed teams together as a hybrid team, and they're all at the table. And then also you start using pilots to learn by doing. And then not only focusing on the technical side, there's also that shift in the mindset. How can AI support work versus replacing people? Also, like I mentioned before, it's about breaking down silos between departments. And then more importantly, it's about celebrating early wins. Satish has done a lot within the city of Houston, and it's really about celebrating those early wins and getting buy-in by his leadership to do other things.
Yeah, I fully agreed with Freddie, and I just want to add one thing on this, that we need to first change our mindset and then culture in organization, that it's not about what efficiency we'll get from AI. We have to prepare our people to accept it. It's about the acceptance and to believe that it is not going to replace you. It is here to make us better. We have to change that mindset. Why most of the people are now talking about AI might replace us, and why they are not much in favor of fully deploying the AI right now is there are many other factors, but one factor is fear factor as well. We have that fear environment here because we need to first understand that this helps us. Without me, AI cannot do anything. I have to tell first, I have to train this model first, and I am the one who is subject matter expert. I can tell before even model runs and gives me result, I can tell you that, okay, my result, this number will be this. But what it means is you can predict your results as a subject matter expert. So your need is always there to validate the things. It will make you better. It will not replace you. That kind of discussion we need to have it. And second thing is, let's look back. What's the problem in our utilities? Let's find that the reason. Main reason is the generation which are working here mainly in the leadership or in a mid-level management, the people who are in a workforce since last 10 years plus, we have never trained, or the no school curriculum or any trainings in the past they have gone through which has actually trained them or taught about the data science or data structure, any kind of this technology. And how do you feel confident about it?
And Divya, this kind of leads to digital maturity, or how do you measure AI readiness? Because you heard Satish talk about it, and we focused a lot on the workforce, but there's a model out there. It's a 5-level model. It's the digital maturity framework. Satish can expand on this because he's been working on this, but we talked about the workforce, the gaps, identifying that. But really, taking a step back, kind of seeing where you are in that maturity framework. So level 1 is really about utilities that are reactive and they're still very analog. Level 2, there might be some digital tools, but again, they're not connected. And by the time you get to level 3, that governance improves of data. You start doing AI pilots. Level 4 is where, AI starts delivering value. And then level 5 is where AI digital tools are embedded across the entire operation, whether it's planning, engineering, operations, and maintenance. And it's really driving real-time predictive decisions.
Exactly, and let me take you back to the SWAN's effort. I am right now co-lead of Digital Twin Architecture Group in SWAN. SWAN is a smart water network. It's a global organization. And we have a lot of utilities, consultant, engineers, I mean, everybody. We participate and we discuss about what can be the future and how can we increase the literacy about the digital twin, digital transformation. That's our effort. Now we have just released digital twin maturity assessment tool. You can, if you go to the SWAN website, you can see there we have prepared a different set of questions where utilities or any organization can go and try yourself that where you are for every sectors like data, workforce development, operational integration, everything is a planning, all sorts of dimension you can see there, and you can choose where you are, and then it provides you not just where you are, then what are the advanced option. Like if I am in level 2 or level 3, like Freddie was stating, what is level 4 mean and how do I go there? How can you reach to that level?
Thanks for the conversation, Satish and Freddie. That was awesome. We've covered so many topics. We've covered the positive mindset towards building prototypes and solutions driven by business needs and user demands. We've also covered the influence of change. Before we close off, do you have any final thoughts?
We talked a lot about hardware, software, workforce, but it really comes down to collaboration. And collaboration is important when you're going through this AI transformation, because whether it's the city of Houston or Dallas Water Utilities, no utility can transform in a vacuum. You need an ecosystem of partners. So obviously you need technology partners. You need to interface with the regulatory agencies. You have to work with consultants and peers because each plays a certain role. For example, the technology partners bring in innovation. The regulators, ensure compliance and public trust. But more importantly, Satish interfaces with other utilities in Texas and across North America because they can share lessons learned and help scale smart systems across the entire water sector. So basically, I just wanted to mention that AI is important, but also you need to look at the ecosystem that's going to support that.
Yeah, for me, what I would say is for the AI enthusiasts in the water utilities, trust the technology. It's not just a word or just here for some year. It will disrupt all industries, not just water utility. So whether we choose it to accept it or not, it is here and it will come to your desk one day. So it's better start early. That is one suggestion to all utility friends. And another thing to add on this is the let's create a trust environment. We have to be aware about the ethical side of how to use it and how not to impact our customers or service delivery, because our industry is a service industry. We are here to provide better service to our customer, to our citizens, to our constituents. That means to provide that level of service to our folks, we need to be bold enough to improve ourselves. We need to find our version 2 all softwares or every device needs to be upgraded, right? Now, this is the time to upgrade ourselves, trusting on ourselves, and then come up with the version 2 of ourselves. This is the time to have that conversion. And third thing is, there are a lot of information available right now, many use cases around the world you can see. Collective intelligence always wins. And that's why what I recommend, and I agree with Freddie, that we have to have a collaborative environment. And on top of that, regulatory agencies, federal government, they need to push more. They need to create the reward environment. Why utilities people, they do not want to try innovation, or they are not much encouraged to do the innovation work in the work is, if you have a problem using that, you will get punished. But if you have something, if you can bring value from that, most probably very few people will notice. So what it means is, we do not have a rewarding environment to transform or to upgrade our work process. That's why it is all collaborative effort. It's not just an event or a project. It's a journey.
And I know we'll probably continue yapping for hours on this around product culture, change, process technology, and more importantly, the water industry. I appreciate both of you so much for joining me today. I really hope our listeners learned so much, because there's so many great insights in this conversation. Thanks again, Freddie. Thank you, Satish, and have a great day.
Thank you, Divya.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've been listening to Transform, Tomorrow's Thinking Today, a podcast for GHD produced by Sound Cartel. Follow Transform free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.